What's up, YouTube world? This is my first official video. I've made a couple in the past with some stereo stuff. Just kind of a glimpse of, some of the stereo stuff I did. So I'm making this video to introduce I'm putting two channels together into one. A lot of people do high power stereo stuff and a lot of people do race car stuff. So I'm going to do both of those in one channel. So some days you'll see me working on a race car, someday you'll see me working on stereo stuff. And then other days, like today, I'll be working on other people's cars. So today, what I'm doing is I'm replacing the head gasket, but I wanted to go a little bit further. There's the intakes all pulled off and everything. I got everything out of the way and I just figured, well, I might as well clean it and clean it really good. So one of the big things that a lot of people forget to do is really clean stuff before they put things back together. So that's what we'll be doing today, and I'll show you a couple tricks. I learned some tricks from another YouTube guy who showed me how to clean the block. Well, he showed everybody, but he showed us how to clean the block and with some sandpaper and some other tools. So I'll be showing you some of that today. So here we go. Enjoy the ride. So the first thing that I'm going to be cleaning is the intake manifold. As you can see, I've taken it all apart. I separated it. There's the top half that the throttle body goes to, and then the bottom half. I found this neat little set at O'Reilly's, actually. Has a bunch of different brushes in it. Figured it'd be perfect for this. So I sprayed some cleaner on there already. So I'm just going to go through on the outside. I'm going to go ahead and use these steel brushes and just kind of clean the outside. You don't need to watch that whole process. But for the inside, the more delicate areas, they have some brass ones and they even have some plastic ones. So for like the most delicate parts, like in here, I'll probably be using the plastic ones as long as nothing breaks off. But in the runners, I'll probably be using the brass ones very carefully. So this is what it looks like before. When I come back, you'll see what it looks like after. So after cleaning for quite a while, this is what the intake manifold looks like now. Much better. Both halves are clean inside and out. I did my best to not take out any material because I don't know how to port. But even the throttle body, everything looks way better. One thing I was thinking about is when you watch other YouTube guys, you're like, how in the world are those guys always clean? Because I was scrubbing, and let me show you, I am not clean. Not at all. I got it in my hair, my pants, head to toe covered in grease. The reason is because those guys have clean engines. Mine's not very clean. But it's gonna be. It's gonna be a lot better. And this isn't my engine anyways. So when I start up on the block and the head, I will show you guys the next process. See you in a little bit. Alright, now I'm back and now we're starting with the next step. I said I was going to show you a thing that I learned from another YouTube person. But first, I had to clean the block because it was really bad and I didn't want you guys to see it. It's still a little dirty. You can see over there and imagine just how bad it was. The way that I was able to get most of this off was with this stuff. Right there. That Lucas multi-purpose cleaner is amazing. You guys should definitely get some. Alright, so on to the next step. So normally I'd use a bigger block so it'd cover the whole, I mean a bigger block of wood so it'd cover the whole block and a bigger piece of sandpaper. I kind of just put this thing together and I have to go little bits at a time. It's not as efficient and probably not as accurate. I would have liked to have the whole block cover the whole area, but the reason I couldn't is because the timing chain cover is still there and there's a bunch of other stuff in the way, so stick with this. And what I do is I just go little bits at a time, making sure to keep the board as flat as possible. And we're just cleaning off the surface. And if there's too big of divots or whatever, then we'll stop and take this into a machine shop and have them properly do it. But from what I've seen, I used a level and a straight edge, and I haven't seen any real high spots or any low spots. The only reason why it keeps getting snagged is it's got this neat little point on the end. It's the only block I can find. So I'll start with this kind of rough. It's 400. Then I'll move down to like a 2000 after this and get nice and smooth. And before I go to assemble anything, I'll use this cleaner one more time, spray everything down, and then I'll use a vacuum and vacuum out all the valleys and low spots and everything else to make sure it's all really clean and nothing goes into the engine. And if you're wondering why I left the timing chain cover on, because the harmonic balancer would not come off, and I didn't have time before I took the head to fight with it, so I left it there. It is easier to take the timing chain cover off, but you can make do with it now, which is how I'll do it. Alright, come back to you when this part's all done. So I changed my block wood. I found a bigger one, and then changed to the 600 grit. So this is actually working a lot better, as you can tell. And also, as you can tell, there's no high spots. There's no low spots. It's very smooth. My theory is that the person that did this before, because you can still see the machine marks, which is recently done. I think they didn't put the torque bolts, the head bolts in, or they didn't torque them down right. Because it wasn't like a. When we got the head done, they only took off a little bit. And you can see as I'm going over this, there's nothing like really catching. There's no really bad low spots or high spots. I mean, it's pretty level. When I took a straight edge to it and a feeler gauge, which is the first thing I did, there was only a couple spots that were a little bit low, and you can see them like right here, but not enough to get it machined. So we'll finish this step and come back again. See you guys in a little bit. So I wanted to show you guys one more thing. I was going this way because the timing chain covers here, but I started thinking about it. Realistically, we should be going this way to get the whole surface. It's not really hurting the timing chain cover anyways, because it's starting hitting right before the actual timing chain. You guys can still see there's no real high spots or low spots. Alright, we'll come back when it's all done. Okay, after a whole lot of sanding, I think we're finally done. So we started with 220, then we went to 400, then 600, and 2,500. And this is what it looks like when it's done. Then of course we sprayed everything off with a multi-purpose parts cleaner from Lucas, and it looks really good. It looks like a machine did it. It came out pretty good. I don't think there'll be any sealing issues at all. I still need to take this off because the more I think about it, the more I'm not going to be able to get any gasket maker or gasket inside here. So it's going to be some work to get that taken off so I can do it right. Alrighty, see you in the next step. So I want to show you guys the cars that I'm working with. So one of them is going to be like high-powered car audio stuff, And I'm trying something a little different this time. Before I did 2 big 12s and a whole lot of power. It was about 7,000 watts to those 2 12s. This time I want to see what we can do with little 8s. So here's the car that I'm doing that with. So this little car is the one that's going to have the whole stereo stuff in it. And I'm still working on the wiring and stuff, so. And also, before I show you this, this is only half of what the stereo system is going to be. So right now it's just 2 Scar 8s, and believe it or not, they're pretty freaking loud. When we go for a ride, I'll show you guys that. I can't believe how loud these 2 8s are. So I plan on doing another one there, another one there. But I just ordered a 12-inch Scar. I don't know why, but I did. So I might do 112 like up here on the top, and then these 2 8s, because this little amp right here is 3,000 watts. I can't believe it actually pushes as much power as it does. So that's this car. This was supposed to be just a daily, but I just said, well, why not have a fun daily, you know? So that's that one. So now the car that's gonna be a race car, let me show you. So we're starting with an 03 WRX. Done a lot of work to it already. Straight exhaust. There's no cats at all. The downpipe all the way back is 3-inch pipe. Really, really loud. Really, really aggressive. And it's pretty fast. All 4 tires do burn out pretty, as I'm sure you guys know. There's a lot of power to these WRXs. They tend to spin the tires pretty good. So let me show you. So it's kind of messy. I'm not going to show you the inside right now. But show you a little bit what I'm doing in there. So everybody does a front mount intercooler. I did a really, really big top mount intercooler, and believe it or not, it actually holds up to a lot of boost. Right now I'm running 21 psi. I tuned it myself. I could do a little more improvement, I'm not gonna lie. Maybe pull back the fuel a little bit, if you know. Anyways, yeah, a little bit less boost. Well, I don't know about less boost, but less fuel anyways. So I'm running the store. I'm going to show you guys what this thing sounds like. I'm going to go for a little trip, and then we'll come back and start the Subi. See you in a little bit. So I'm back. I'm going to take you guys for a little ride, show you the stereo. So you'll be able to see the camera move, obviously. Probably some things shaking in the car. You're not going to feel it like I feel it, but you should get a generally pretty good idea of how loud these little 8s are. When I stop, we'll probably get out, look at the 8s, and see them move a little bit. They're not too good on free air for some reason. I think they'd probably be better in a sealed box, but I've just always done ported because I could tune it. So here we go. Let me get out of this parking lot so these guys don't get mad at me. All right. Yeah, it's loud. Alright, here we go. So you guys got the idea. It's pretty loud. When I get up here, we'll get out and we'll look at it. So I'll be right back because the camera keeps turning sideways. I don't have like an actual stand like a lot of people do. So I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm going to a little parking lot over here so I can show you a little bit of what these speakers do. Subwoofers, my bad. Like I said, they don't like free air that much. They like it when the hatch is closed. And I've honestly never had that before. Like the Scar 12 loves that. So here we go. Let me turn this on quietly. So now you guys will come on a little ride with me back to the apartment. We'll see what the Subi sounds like. Like I said, it's pretty loud. Engine wise, there's no stereo in it. I've done a lot of work to it. There's going to be a lot more work. The next step that I want to do is put bigger injectors in it, bigger fuel rail, and run methanol. Bigger fuel pump also, obviously. But since I can tune it myself now, I did the TGV delete. Pretty much deleted everything else. Everything that's not necessary for what I'm doing, I should say. Street use, yeah, you can't do that. It's not. Luckily, here in Salem, Oregon, we don't have emissions. So, running it without any cats at all is a fun, good thing. It likes it. The Subis seem to really like catless exhaust. It sounds good, performs really good. I also installed some cutoffs just in case. So if I want to do some street tuning, I can make it semi-quiet because it has a Flowmaster. It adds a little bit of back pressure too, so it kind of, at times it helps at like the higher end. Lower end, it really likes being able to breathe. But, you know, if I'm being too noisy, police officers here in Salem, Oregon don't really like that. Then I turn it down so you can hear it. And I know a lot of you are probably thinking, why don't you make the R32 your race car? Well, because the R32 looks nice. And I don't plan on crashing it. You know, you never know what's going to happen when I'm going 160, 162 miles an hour. Bigger turbo, methanol, possibly nitrous. You never know what's going to happen. So it's going to get a roll cage and everything when it's all said and done. But it's you know, maybe later it might look nice, but for the most part, it's not going to be my pretty car. It's going to purpose-built race car is what it's for. It's going to, I want to say it's going to be only drag racing, but I know myself, probably won't be just drag racing, but because it drifts pretty good. It shouldn't, but it does. It drifts pretty good. Yeah, all 4 tires. I had a buddy ride along with me. We went to a store and they did a burnout, and he saw all 4 tires lit up pretty good. So when he go in a big parking lot, it likes to go in circles. It drifts really good. So anyways, we're on the way back to the apartment, and I'm going to show you guys what it sounds like, and that should wrap up this video. So when I come back to you guys, the next video I'll start with finishing up that engine that I'm working on, putting the head gasket and all that other stuff, taking the timing chain cover off, getting all that done, and then we'll start working on the Subaru, probably that same video, and start getting it ready for a cage. Oh yeah, the auto bump, sorry. Start getting ready for the cage, and possibly at the same time get ready for bigger injectors and bigger fuel system. How about that? Because everything's getting upgraded. Fuel pump, injectors, rail, all that is going to be pumped. I haven't decided if I want to do water to air cooling instead of just the intercooler, because it's going to need more. With methanol, I won't need that much more, because the methanol will help keep it cool. But I do, you know, once I get it up in the higher RPMs to launch, I do want to get some sort of better cooling system. And that way, if I decide to switch it to like a road course or, you know, something else besides drag racing, then I'll have that option. I'll be able to do that. Just with the, hold on. Just with the bigger intercooler, it seems to do really, really good with just the big top mount intercooler. It really likes that. If you're wondering, there's nothing done to this car. I did an intake, that's it. It's like a Nate made intake. I put some pipes together and made a cold air intake. Here we go. You'll be surprised. I haven't started this thing in a week. Watch how fast it starts up. Watch it not start up this time. That'd be horrible. Let's start this beast up. One of the things I want to change on this thing is the alarm. It sounds horrible. Sorry about the lights, guys. I'd say that I could edit that out, but I don't know how yet. So probably not. Right up every time. So I'm not going to rev it up until it warms up. But so that's full open exhaust. Push a button. Incognito exhaust. Push a button again. Race mode. I don't want to make the neighbors too mad, but you get the idea. So I had an outro that I did already, but I started thinking about it and I forgot a few things. One, I was going to say, the products that I used I wasn't paid by them or anything like that, by Lucas or anything like that. It's just, it's really, really good cleaner. And I thought I'd tell you guys about it. Because it's seldom that I find a good cleaner. There's a couple other that I use, one for like disinfecting and stuff, but to actually clean parts, that one worked really good. And dadgummit. And I also want to say the idea of this video was to give you guys a glimpse of, you know, what's going to happen. Both of those cars, the car that I'm in now, obviously is going to be a lot more work, right? But you have an idea of what's going to happen. This is going to be a lot different. The wires and everything will be hidden, and it'll look a lot better. You know, it'll be, when it's all said and done, it'll be show quality wiring job. Right now, it's more of a test than anything, because I've never done 8s, period. So doing 8s with a lot of power is new to me. So I'm just seeing what's going to happen. And I'm sure there's a lot of you that will have comments and say whatever, but like I said, this is a test. You know, that's all it is. If they don't work out after 4 of them, then I'll go back to 12s. But the idea of this car is to be my daily driver / loud stereo car. Hopefully go to some competitions. I've always used Scar because they seem to work for me really good. And again, you know, I'm not sponsored by them or anything like that. It's just their subwoofers really work. Their amps are pretty good too, but there's other amps out there that I want to try. I haven't tried the Scar's like higher powered amps because they're, for me, it might be a good price for you guys, but for me they're too expensive. So right now that's what I'm going to use. This is more of a budget build, unless there's somehow I can get enough money to get a real Scar amplifier. Then I would do all Scar. The door speakers in this are either going to be Scar or massive. It depends on, you know, the price and the timing and all that stuff. And then you saw with the Subaru, it's a lot of work. The car's ugly, and it's going to be ugly for a reason. Because like I said before, if I'm going 160 miles an hour or in excess of that, and I crash, yeah, that's gonna hurt me, and you know, that'd be bad for me. But I'd rather crash that car than this car. Okay, because this car is pretty nice. This car, yeah, it's fast, but it is nothing like the Subaru is right now. I mean, that car, and it's taken a lot of work. I've been tuning it by myself for a while. I reached out to a couple people to see if I can get some help. We'll see what happens. But I have a pretty good idea of what I'm doing with it, tuning wise. But there's some numbers that don't make sense to me in my brain. So, you know, if there's anybody out there that wants to help me out, that'd be awesome. Yeah, you know, eventually I plan on going to see Brent from PFI. I haven't scheduled an actual time. I told him about it, but we haven't like actually scheduled a time because it's in Colorado and I'm in Oregon. So we'll see what happens. So anyways, back to what I was saying. The idea of this video was just to show you guys what these cars are, you know, the direction that they're going and my plans for them. And if you guys like that and you want to see me keep progressing, you want to see these cars keep progressing, then stay tuned. I'll try to make a video, you know, every other day, every other couple days. We'll see how it goes. It all depends on the reaction that I get from you guys. If you guys like this, then hey, I'll work my hardest and put out some more content. So for now, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification button so anytime I make a new video, you guys will hear about it. So stay safe. Talk to you guys later. Have a good day.